Action!
Why is this so good? What the fuck am I watching? Genius. 11 out of 10. Fucking hell, that was crazy. How? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the first ever episode of Ryan React. I'm a full-time video editor, which means I edit content for people every fucking day. And so in an attempt to continuously develop my own skills, what I do every week is sit for about an hour and just watch footage that people have put out in an attempt to understand how they created them and apply that to my own content. So this week I asked my wonderful intern Yelmer to pick out 3 videos that he found very cool that he thinks I should react to. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to film my reaction now and basically break down how I think they made those edits. So with that being said, let's dive into the first video of today. And that is My Year 2023 Kolder Creative by Moar Benezri. I hope I didn't butcher that, my bad. Okay, I said I haven't seen this in advance, so let's go.
Welcome to the roller coaster that I call...
No! No!
Welcome to the roller coaster that I...
Oh, what a shot. What a shot, that first... Oh.
Well...
Okay, the way the effect is done, I think it's quite simple, but so effective. So he will have had either someone who basically films this for him, I guess, and goes up to then zoom in on his journal as he opens it, and then just has a rapid collection of shots. Ah, Jesus.
Welcome to the roller coaster that I call 20.
Also the sound effects, man.
You know, a lot of people say that life is a teacher, and this year... These subtle cinematic shots on his hand are insane. A lot of people say that life is a teacher.
Those are what adds the spice. Going from this close-up back to this kind of wide shot. And I think he filmed it at just the right day. I don't think that's like unnatural. I think that's literally sunlight and he just got a great shot. And because he films into the sun, it creates this silhouette here. Right? So it looks like this part is darker, and I think that adds the exact effect that he was looking for.
And this year I've been a very busy student. It was a journey of rises and falls, lessons I will never forget. So why am I making this video? It's not just about sharing what I've been through, it's about memes. So here we go. That was my year 2023.
Fucking sick. This part is actually easier to do than you might think. Basically, you need screenshots of, in his case, FL Studio, but Premiere Pro works as well. Set them to screen effect, and then that's going to create this like transparency, and it looks a little bit like he's looking at the screen. And he's placed them cleverly, so you feel like you're in the computer at the moment.
Starting a business, or how I learned to stop and love the chaos, was the first lesson of the year. This year, for the first time in my life, I started my...
Why is this so good? Okay, so here the way he's done this is had a tripod up in front of himself and then created 3 videos. Each video is obviously one of him sitting at a different location, and then basically crop them down the middle. So over this section where he is will be a crop, over this section where he is will be a crop, and then there's a feather to smoothen that transition over it. And that's basically how he's managed to get himself 3 times in the same video. It's actually quite easy to do, but genius. The lighting here is also nuts. I'm not sure if this is like a blue light or if he just literally turned the TV up.
My own business.
I think because it's so consistent, it's probably a blue light that he's added. I wonder where though. Probably from the top. I think here.
Truth is, at the beginning I barely made $400. I was so close to trading my dream with a 9-to-5. And without any financial responsibility, I decided to buy my first cinema camera. Which turns out is the universe's funny way of saying, keep at it, buddy. Jobs started coming in and my dreams started coming true. So the first lesson,
I also need to get a camera.
never give up.
I have no idea.
Turns out it's the universe's funny way of saying keep at it, buddy. Jobs started coming in and my dreams started coming true. So the first lesson, never give up.
I think it's like 2 shots. I think there's like a mask that expands as he puts his hand forward, and then the other camera appears, and he uses some sort of like a blue glow effect to make that transition seem smoother, to like hide the mistakes.
Lesson, never give up.
Nuts. These shots are also insane. The subtle sound effects that lay underneath it, there's like clicks. So good. So good. From surfing down to the dolphin, so smart, because it's undoubtedly 2 shots, the one of the surfing and then the other one of the dolphin under the water already, and he's probably used this as like a frame block shot, and because of the fast transition you don't notice, but like here you kind of see that the edge or the blackness of the previous shot going out and the different color blue from the new shot coming in, but because it's the same context your brain doesn't really notice it and it feels like it's just the same. It's so good. It's so good. He has to have known exactly where he shot it and then have his tripod up in a certain height, and afterwards you can like level the image so that it's more or less the same height again as the previous one by having opacity on the first shot and lining it up with the previous shot. But still, the level of thought that goes into getting something like that. What the fuck am I watching? I am so far off of reaching this stage, it's disgusting. Okay, let's just break down what happened in like the space of 5 seconds. So he adds first glitch effect there. That's like an overlay over the screen, and then like a short black frame here with like the digital noise as an overlay. Glitch comes back in, shot very shortly, 2 frames maybe, if that. Shot again glitch effect, and the sound effects are what really drives it home. Probably did that in frame, like tape stop effect that slowly makes it sound like something's pitching out. And like the little text effects that are just long enough to notice what's being said, and yet so short that they still add to the glitch effect. 10 out of 10. Some real deep knowledge of storytelling here. You can tell this guy does music because like the level of sound design that goes into his. He has like this heartbeat going on very softly underneath all of this now, and then on top he has like the risers, the glitch effects still coming in from when he made the transition earlier. It's insane. That's what adds the level of depth to this, right? Contrary to what most stuff you see on social media right now is, it's all visual And actually visual, because it's so cluttered, 90% of the time will make it seem childish. And if you're able to do it, layer it by using sound design as a means to create transitions and adding like simple things like light flares. I think for a lot of these pro editors, you'll see that the sound design layers are much bigger than the footage on top.
I went out for a party with friends and found myself in a life-threatening situation. Chased by terrorists that shooting in every direction, hiding in a bush for almost 8 hours. Without any water or barely the ability to breathe, but with a strong faith. Strong faith that I'm going to survive this. This is not how my story would end.
Genius. Something that's also super underrated about this is the ability to pace a video. What I mean by that is in the first, it's 3 minutes 48 long. We're, let's say, 2 minutes in. First 2 minutes were extremely fast, right? A lot was going on, fast sound effects, check, a lot of footage, very quick. Music was upbeat, the music really drives home the sort of fastness of what it is. And then now, because this is much more serious, it's a serious topic, there's still a lot happening in terms of like every 3 to 7 seconds something is changing, but it's slow, it's distant. Like this shot right here, this is not how my story would end. And it could be that he's just doing this instinctively, but creating that distance, that feeling of loneliness by having this wide shot and not being a close-up, not being over his shoulder, makes you feel that he felt distant and lost from the world.
And as you can guess, I survived to tell. A week after that happened, I got an email that my video
This is the same as what I explained earlier, right? It's a screen recording or screenshot maybe of the email, and then put the blend mode on that to screen, which will create this like opacity to it that you're able to see the sky behind it. It's not hard, but it's genius. It's genius to think of.
Jordan reached to the second place in some competition, and I'm invited to London for the ceremony. So after a lot of deliberation, I went to London, met some amazing people, recharged my soul, and came back home. And then I found out that 3 of my friends were killed. The day after, I just got an email from a very big dance company about working together, which was like a dream for me. And the day after, Noah and I decided to break up. So welcome to the roller coaster that I call 2023. And after all of that, I started to realize some things. Everything happens for a reason, even if you cannot see it at the moment. So make sure you feel valued where you are and appreciate those around you. The right people will stay and the right things will happen. And don't forget, even the darkest night will end and the sun will rise.
Also very curious how you did that. I think there's like a track map on the text so that when he walks over it, you get this effect. But I don't think it's not set to matte, but I think it's set to alpha that causes it to brighten up. That's insane. Wow. 10 out of 10, 11 out of 10. Fucking hell, that was crazy. I hope I can produce something like that someday. Let's see. I think the main points that main lessons I take away from that one is a reminder about the importance of pacing and using music to pace something. So when it is emotional, then slow it down. All of it, whether that's footage, transitions, sound effects, like take away layers. And when you're trying to tell a serious story, in this case, less is more. Insane. Insane. Okay, let's go on with the next one. Video 2, my year 2023 by Andreas Hem. Now I've already heard a lot about this one, that it's insane. Guy's got 230,000 subscribers. I have 58. But well, I'm excited to learn from this one. Let's see.
Last year, I managed to upload a record-breaking 0 videos on my YouTube channel. A lot of people thought that I quit YouTube and given up filmmaking. And I could not let that happen.
Bro, these people aren't even vloggers. They're just like, I don't know, movie makers at this point. This shouldn't be on YouTube. This shouldn't be on YouTube.
Last year, I managed to upload a record-breaking 0 videos.
Using the fire, like, I'm curious if he actually lit a fire. Probably. Or if this was his design. But using 0 and then having the circle here, as a means to storytell is genius.
Videos on my YouTube channel. A lot of people thought that I quit YouTube and given up filmmaking.
A also the level of acting that goes into being able to shoot that. And then he has like a red light. I think it's even fake. I think he used like an overlay here of like the fire effects coming off, and then like a really bright red light because there's no natural flickering in the firelight. That's interesting.
And I could not let that happen. I actually shot a lot of footage last year. Festival videos, nature stuff, concerts. I'm kind of drowning in footage here.
This angle is so sick. It's not a top down. I think this is the Dutch angle. I think that's what you call it. It's not quite top down, as in literally shot from above, but it's like this.
I'm kind of drowning in footage here. And for the longest time,
What the fuck was that?
I've been wanting to collect all my footage.
I have no idea. I have no idea how he made that. No, zero.
I can edit and show you guys what my hair has. But here's the thing. There's
Crazy. Okay, I'm 30 seconds in. It's insane. Similar to the previous one, this one is also crazy about the pacing between the beginning and so far. And it's all in a lot shorter period, as in the first, what is that? 15 seconds were very slow to build up because it was such a serious point he was trying to make. And then now it's like, okay, time to get to business. Bam, 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 super fast. Let's, have a lot of shots. Let's have upbeat music. Got Fred again underneath as a layer. Let's go fast. These natural flows that you take people on is what you want in a video. In no video do you want constantly this, right? Nor do you want slow, because that's boring and mundane, and this is exhausting to watch. And in my opinion, that's a lot of Mr. Beast videos. No offense, Mr. Beast is a genius, but I think his stuff's getting so much better in terms of storytelling, but like his consistency of this like high energy, exhausting to watch, in my opinion.
been a bubble around me. A bubble where sitting down to edit felt pretty much impossible. I was uninspired and it kept going for months. But then, last week, the game changed. Inspiration didn't just knock, it burst through the door. So I fired up my laptop and started editing. And after 5 days of intense editing, I was ready to show you what my hair has been like. And to do that, I have to take you back to the cold days of January.
How did he do that? Using like zoom in to make the transition to then go here. Class!
I started the year by filming a big concert.
The level of confidence that it takes for a person to be able to sit in a bus and just be like, fuck it, I'm gonna record this. Genius.
Besides that, nothing really happened.
Oh, so much is happening. I next time I need to download them and break it down frame for frame. Using the zoom in on the building to then cut to this one, to then use what seems to be like an incoming either tram or something as the means to fade over and mask. And what you then do is you have like the building here, and as this train's coming in, or maybe this is better, these are the buildings, and as the train comes in, with each frame you want to hide what is behind here. So that's what's going to create this effect, as if the train that's coming in is pushing away the buildings. I hope that makes sense.
As you probably can see, Oslo is
Surprisingly easy to do. He's taken a screen stop recording at the point whereby he wanted to pause it. So this is just a photo, the background now, right? And what he's done is he created another video, probably with a green screen background, but if not, he's just filmed it somewhere relatively bright and he's cut himself out. That makes him then look like he's in here.
January. It's usually cold and dark, so I spent most of my time inside. The days passed in a blur, and before I knew it, it was February. And that month, I got to make a music video for an artist friend of mine named Rock Boys.
How do you do that? How do you do that? Andreas, if you're watching this, how do you do that?
This is probably the best music video I've ever made. Is it March already? In March, me and my girlfriend moved into our new apartment.
Also, what's genius about this, by the way, is using like the months as a means to tell the story, like really build up throughout the year, because it gives this underlying tone of like, I want to know what's to come. and you know each phase he's gonna talk you through. It keeps you engaged. You're like, okay, this is sick. He's already in March. What's gonna happen in June, July, August, September, October?
Moving used a lot of time, but luckily for us, I'm a VFX artist.
That explains a hell of a lot. So he's a video effects artist, is what he just said in case you missed it, which means this is what he does his job, right? So he understands how to make like Spider-Man shit or Marvel stuff. I think I could do that. I think. As in, I think this is a shot of the table before and then a second shot whereby he's either like put the candle down quickly and just made a mask that has an keyframe on the expansion that goes, and that's how it appears, I think. And then obviously the sound effects underneath it. Okay, I'm lost. I have no idea. I have no idea. Color grading on this is also insane. Seems like it's just, he probably went this way with his hand and in doing so, and then just reversed it, so it seems like he put the light on. I'm just not sure how he got it to go out. Maybe someone is standing at this camera or at this point of the video blows out the candles as he does it. That's my assumption. Maybe it's also just fake.
Our apartment is definitely not your typical Scandinavian home, but then again, me and Helene aren't exactly the typical Scandinavian, so it's perfect for us. For those of you that don't know me, I shoot festivals for a living, which is why I spent most of April prepping my gear for the festival season.
Also explains the level of quality in the video.
Comments: Andreas, it's not necessary to film festivals on red cameras. And I agree, but does it look cool? Absolutely.
How?
In May, the first festival finally kicked off. And as you probably can see, Norwegians live for festivals. In June, Helene and I...
So such a smart transition to use. To have the shot that you know on the laptop and then zoom out the laptop and close it in order to start a new frame. Class.
In June, Helene and I visited Lofoten in Norway for our summer break. And the break was so much needed because I had a lot of festivals waiting for me at home. July was a lot of fun. We built a custom-made tripod for my red camera to get some insane shots. And before you ask, yes, it was really heavy. We made it to August, and it was only one festival left.
Kind of what I have this guy's life.
Findings Festival. It's just crazy to me to think about the fact that I've been making after movies for 12 years now.
I mean, this guy has been doing this for 12 years and then some, probably. So it would be stupid of me, who's been doing this for maybe 2 years, to expect that I could create this. Put your hands up high. Put your hands up high. Put your hands up high. Put your hands up
I do not see myself doing this forever, so when the time comes for me to step away, I'll make one last after movie that I hope will inspire young filmmakers for years to come. I spent the rest of August editing, and after delivering all the edits, I started feeling dizzy. And before I knew it, pow! I went straight to the floor and into my burnout period.
I got this music, because like all of it is commercially driven. So I'm not sure if he managed to, if he bought the license, or if he's just not earning any money with this.
You know that time between Christmas and New Year's Eve when you have no idea what day it is? Well, that's how October and November felt to me.
So what a shot. What a shot. Look at that. I mean, that probably is Norway for you, or wherever he is. Maybe he's in Sweden, Scandinavia at least. Wow, what a shot.
Last one, and I'm super excited to show you what it looks like. But looking back at 2023, it feels like I lived most of the year in my head.
I mean, that shot is, it's important when you would film something like this to make sure that you film at a high frame rate, probably for slow-mo, something like 120 frames per second, so that you're able to zoom it down. And of course, you need to have something which is able to capture this level of detail. You're not going to be able to shoot this with your iPhone.
It feels like I lived most of the year in my head. I've been thinking so much about the future of my career and what I want to do with my life. I've set some insane goals for 2024 that I know that I can accomplish with the right mindset. And one last thing, making this video was really hard. Usually my creativity comes and goes, but this time I really had to force myself to be creative. Finding the perfect ending to this video was really hard as well. I wanted the video to go out with a bang, so I figured I could just end with some explosions. And with that being said, I wish you a happy new year and good luck on your own journey into...
I think that's the only one whereby I'm like, nah. The explosions, you could see that they were added. Still sick. Sick to be able to do, like, don't get me wrong, I'm not able to create anything like that. You just kind of see it. Somehow the shadows are slightly off. Then again, how would he have actually exploded cars in Norway? Being arrested. Man, what a video. What a video. Okay, we've arrived at the last video, and that video is my year 2022, my life as a full-time filmmaker. So this one's already a little bit older. My intern said it's great, so I'm gonna check it out anyway. All right, let's go.
My name's Sam, and I've been making these My Year films documenting my journey for over 5 years now. And what started as a joke, 1.4 million views later, these videos have, in a way, become a journal of my life. I want to share with you some of my biggest lessons that will maybe help inspire some of you to chase after your dream. And explain how I went from a kid with a GoPro to a full-time travel filmmaker. But to really understand what I do, first we have to look back. At the beginning of the year, I got the incredible opportunity to travel to the Arctic Circle. This was my first ever project with Canon USA, and I got
match cut effect, right? I already spoke about it a few times, but adding that match cut can make it look so smooth, and it's so simple.
The project was called Eye of the Storm, and we premiered it live in LA in front of 200 people.
We don't have landscapes like this in Europe. How the fuck am I supposed to shoot something like this? Crazy.
To make a film about my close friend, Erica. It was one of those projects that we kind of just threw together last minute, but I couldn't be more happy with how it turned out. After Utah, I went to Hawaii.
Man. Insane drone shot. After I have a camera, I think a drone is next. I chose the most expensive hobby to have ever in the world. Don't become a videographer or anything like it.
36 hours about Maddie and Tara. And then for the first time in over 10 years, I got to go on a trip with my family.
Just in case you don't know how to do this, also this is quite simple. If you look for a Super 8 overlay, you can Google this, there's probably free ones, there's also ones in Artlist. And what you basically do is you import that overlay and then you select the blend mode darken under your video. And this video is probably just normal video, right? It's not an old video, but it'll make it look like it's vintage. And if that's at least the tone you're trying to hit, this is easy to do and gives a fabulous effect. If you then on top really nail it by adding some Super 8 sound effects and also image noises, like old photograph noises.
Meaningful things I did all year. It was around that time where I met this girl, someone who I don't really talk about on this channel, but has changed my life so much for the better. And as always, we made a few music videos. We sold a couple turtlenecks and everybody creamed so hard. And that's when things really picked up. I got the opportunity to shoot with this guy, Aaron Brimhall, a photographer I've looked up to for so long. We then released the footage and had over 1,000 people enter our editing contest. Then we flew out to Iceland to make a film with my friend Jay Ford, and we got to premiere this one live in San Diego in front of 200 people. There really is no better feeling than bringing this entire community together in real life.
Okay, I have to say, for me at this point, it's dragging on a little bit. Now, don't get me wrong, right? I'm not judging anyone. This guy's clearly a genius and gets paid for what he does. I just think at this point, the pace should have switched a little, which comes back to the first two videos whereby the pacing was constantly on off, and now it's like, okay, great. When's the turnaround gonna come? When's the challenge? What are you struggling with? Like, you can't tell me life was all good. And maybe because it's longer, it's coming, but...
Which ended exactly how you would think. And then Artlist invited me out to speak for Google, which I still can't wrap my mind around. Try to have those real connections with your creators and do that over a long period of time, and then you'll be at a Google Talk one day, so... Yeah. And that's when everything changed forever. I got the opportunity of a lifetime to have my work featured on a billboard in Times Square. It's one of those moments in my life that I still can't really...
Okay, this is sick. How does one do that? It seems like he has these, what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 images plus the background image. And he adds paper textures as overlays to them and frames the photo in there. So just like with the Super 8, when you would have this as an image and you select overlay and whatever it is, screen or darken, it's going to give this like effect as if something has been laid over the image. That should give this like paper outline effect, I think.
Got the opportunity of a lifetime to have my work featured on a billboard in Times Square. It's one of those moments in my life that I still can't really put into words.
I personally would have added some paper or photo sound effects here, to be honest. It looks sick. Is that Karl Shakur? Certainly looks like him. Also, a very simple effect, quite easy to make. You see a message to my 18-year-old self, right? As you have the video of him coming back in, what you do is put a crop effect on the text, and as the person walks past, if this is the text, as the person walks past, every time that he walks a little bit further, you basically want to make sure that everything is hidden behind his body. So you just keyframe the crop to basically decrease as he walks further.
So when I look back at everything that happened in 2022, there was one event that impacted me more than anything else. At the beginning of the year, we lost a friend of mine. His name was Josh Newman, and he was just one of those people that lit up every single room he ever walked into.
I would watch Josh's videos and they would make me feel so alive. And I remember the first time I met him, he told me he didn't think he deserved the success he had, which I thought was crazy because of how much his videos impacted me. But I never told him that.
And above all, Josh should be a reminder that no matter how big or small, everything you do has an impact on someone.
Which brings me back to my message to my 18-year-old self, who still...
I really love the turn that this took in terms of like being authentic, being vulnerable, telling the story, telling why it affects him. Just can't help but feel like this is the pace of the entire video. And I 100% think this part should be in there, but probably I would have done differently as an editor, is have the first part be slightly more up-paced, a little bit more different music, so it's not constantly the same level. Again, that's just me, right? It's all personal choices.
To make films with his friends, hoping one day that he could take that camera around the world.
So that video was great, was definitely a lot slower than the previous videos. I think a lot of like cool transition ideas that I could take from that one. He's clearly insanely good at what he does, right? Not that I want to make it seem like he's not. He's a fucking genius. I can learn a lot from him. I just personally would have made a little bit more pacing, or I personally would have just added a little bit more pace between the two videos. Between the two segments, I mean. So that brings me to this first ever week of Ryan Reacts. Let me know in the comments down below what you think of that, and more importantly, tag videos that you think I should review and break down how people made stuff. And with that being said, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next week.